story time, books and stories from your mind. Story time, we love story time.
Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Miss Mems and you're watching Story Time with Miss Mems. Now remember, when we're listening to a story, we need to sit comfortably so we can enjoy the story, and sit quietly so you and everyone listening can hear the story. Are you ready? The book we're going to be reading today is called Peppa's Muddy Puddle Walk. Peppa and George are visiting Granny and Grandpa Pig. "It's Muddy Puddle Walk Day," says Peppa. "What's that?" asks Granny Pig. "It's a sponsored walk with playgroup," says Peppa. "We're going to jump in muddy puddles all the way." "Splat!" shouts George. "The walk is to raise money to help people," explains Peppa. "And to get really, really muddy." "I love getting muddy," says Grandpa Pig. "Can Granny Pig and I come along too?" "Yes," says Peppa. "Madam Gazelle says that having lots of people will make the walk even more fun." "Shall I bring the giant chocolate cake I made?" asks Granny Pig. "We can sell it at the walk." "Yes, please," says Peppa. "Miss Rabbit has a cake stall." "Oh," sighs Grandpa Pig, "I was rather hoping I could have a slice." "But Grandpa," says Peppa, "it will help us raise money." As everyone puts on their boots and gets ready for the walk, Peppa sings a song. "Who loves muddy puddles? We do, we do. Who loves muddy puddles? We do, we do. Daddy and Mummy and George, we're all going on a muddy puddle walk. Have you got your boots on? We do, we do. Have you got your boots on? We do, we do. Granny and Grandpa, me and George, we're all going on a muddy puddle walk." When they arrive, Granny Pig takes her cake to Miss Rabbit's cake stall. Then Madam Gazelle asks everyone to head to the starting line. "Now," says Madam Gazelle, "has everyone got their boots on?" "Yes!" everyone cheers. "Okay, ready, steady, go!" calls Madam Gazelle. Grandpa Pig reaches a very deep muddy puddle. "Jump in it, Grandpa!" cries Peppa. "Okay," says Grandpa Pig. Splat! He jumps straight into the very deep muddy puddle. Squelch, squelch. Everyone gets very muddy, jumping in all the muddy puddles. At the end of the walk, Peppa and her family each get a sticker and a certificate. "Fantastic news, everyone," says Madam Gazelle. "We've raised lots of money. Hooray!" Everybody cheers. "Granny," says Peppa, "where's Grandpa gone?" "I don't know, Peppa," says Granny Pig. Grandpa Pig arrives carrying Granny Pig's chocolate cake. "All that jumping made me a bit peckish," he says, "so I bought this. Anyone for a slice?" Everyone laughs. Peppa loves muddy puddle walk days. Everyone loves muddy puddle walk days. The end.
Peppa the Zookeeper. It was breakfast time and Mummy and Daddy Pig had a big surprise for Peppa. "We're going to the zoo," announced Daddy Pig. "You're going to be a zookeeper for the day." "Wow!" cried Peppa. "What do zookeepers do?" "Excellent question, Peppa," said Daddy Pig. "That's what we're going there to find out." "Hooray!" cheered Peppa. Peppa was so excited that she sang all the way to the zoo. Bing bong bing, bong bing boo, I am going to the zoo. When they arrived, Mr. Lion, the zookeeper, was waiting at the gate. "Hello, Peppa," he said. I hear you're helping us today.
Yes, cried Peppa. What does a zookeeper do?
First, you must put on your important zookeeper's clothes, said Mr. Lion, passing a uniform to Peppa. It was very early and there were no visitors in the zoo yet. We need to get breakfast ready, said Mr. Lion. Can you help pick some lettuce?
Lettuce, said Peppa. For breakfast? Yuck, said George.
It's the tortoise's favourite, explained Mr. Lion.
Peppa and George picked all the lettuce. Is this enough? Asked Peppa.
Plenty, said Mr. Lion, looking at the empty lettuce patch. Peppa helped Mr. Lion feed the tortoises some lettuce. Breakfast with the tortoises was lots of fun.
They're very hungry, aren't they? said Peppa.
They are indeed,
said Mr. Lion.
Peppa pretended to be a tortoise, moving slowly and munching on lettuce. Munch, munch, munch. You look like a tortoise, Peppa, said Daddy Pig, chuckling.
I love looking after the tortoises, said Peppa. But what else do zookeepers do?
I'll show you, said Mr. Lion. We keep everyone happy at the zoo.
Mr. Lion took everyone to check on the butterflies. Do butterflies eat lettuce for breakfast? Asked Peppa.
Butterflies get their food and drink from flowers, said Mr. Giraffe, who looked after the butterflies. Peppa watched the butterflies slurp from the flowers. Flutter, flutter, slurp, slurp, said Peppa, pretending to be a butterfly. George giggled.
Slurp, hee 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 hee. What else does a zookeeper do? Asked Peppa.
This is Mrs. Crocodile, said Mr. Lion. She's the zookeeper in charge of the penguins.
Hello, Mrs. Crocodile, said Peppa. What are you doing?
I'm feeding the penguins some fish, replied Mrs. Crocodile.
Would you like to help? Oh, cried Peppa. Yes, please.
Peppa and Mrs. Crocodile threw fish to the penguins. The penguins were very good at catching them.
Waddle, waddle, catch,
said Peppa, pretending to be a penguin. You look like a penguin, Peppa, said Mummy Pig. Everyone laughed when they saw Peppa waddle, even the penguins.
That was amazing, said Peppa. What else do zookeepers do?
Mr. Lion rolled up on the zoo train to collect Peppa and her family.
Choo-choo,
cried George.
Where are we going now, Mr. Lion? asked Peppa.
To check on the tiny creatures, said Mr. Lion. First stop, the wildwood. How exciting, said Daddy Pig.
Hooray,
cheered Peppa and George.
I can't see any tiny creatures, said Peppa.
When they got to the wood, Mr. Lion gave Peppa a magnifying glass. It made tiny things look big.
Look, a ladybird, said Peppa. What does she eat?
Smaller insects that she finds in the wild, explained Mr. Lion.
So we don't need to feed her breakfast? asked Peppa.
No, said Mr. Lion. There are lots of things she can eat right here in the woods. After the wildwood, Mr. Lion drove Peppa and her family all around the zoo.
Now everyone's had breakfast, what do we do? asked Peppa.
Lunch, said Mr. Lion.
It's feeding time, said Peppa. Again?
It's always feeding time at the zoo, said Mr. Lion.
But what do we feed the tortoises? asked Peppa. There's no more lettuce and it's their favourite.
We'll have to find something else, said Mr. Lion, frowning. Just then, Peppa had an idea.
My granny and grandpa grow lettuce in their garden, said Peppa. We could get some from them.
What a wonderful idea, Peppa, said Mummy Pig. That would be fantastic, said Mr. Lion. All aboard the train! Next stop, Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. Choo-choo, cheered George. Peppa and her family hopped on the zoo train with Mr. Lion. They trundled out of the zoo, down the road, and all the way to Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. Hello, little ones, said Granny and Grandpa Pig as the zoo train pulled up outside their house. You look very smart, Peppa, said Grandpa Pig.
I'm a zookeeper for the day, said Peppa. How lovely, said Granny Pig. Peppa explained that the zoo needed Granny and Grandpa Pig's help. We've run out of lettuce, she said, and the tortoises want some for lunch. Well, said Grandpa Pig, we can certainly help with that. Grandpa Pig took everyone to his vegetable patch, and they got picking. Soon they had filled the zoo train with lettuce. Thank you, Granny and Grandpa, said Peppa. Yes, thank you very much, added Mr. Lion. You're most welcome, said Grandpa Pig. Happy to help. Back at the zoo, the tortoises were very happy with their lovely lettuce lunch. What a fantastic zookeeper you are, Peppa, said Mr. Lion. You've looked after the animals and made them feel safe and happy. Being a zookeeper is fun, said Peppa. Who do we feed next? Us, said Mr. Lion. It's feeding time for the zookeepers. Let's wash our hands and have our own lunch. Peppa and her family sat with the other zookeepers. Fancy some lettuce for lunch, Peppa? Asked Daddy Pig. Yes, please, Daddy, said Peppa. I love being a zookeeper because it's always feeding time at the zoo. Peppa loves being a zookeeper. Everyone loves being a zookeeper.
The book we're going to read today is called Peppa's Great Dinosaur Hunt. Peppa and her friends are at Grampy Rabbit's dinosaur park. Welcome to the Great Dinosaur Hunt, says Grampy Rabbit. Now let's find some dinosaurs. Look, says Peppa, there's a spiky tail. Dinosaurs use their tails to balance, says Edmund Elephant. Edmund is a bit of a clever clogs. The dinosaur hunters peek behind a big round rock. Well done, Peppa, says Grampy Rabbit. You've found the spiky-tailed dinosaur. Grampy Rabbit tells everyone to listen out for strange sounds. They might give you a clue about where the next dinosaur is. What was that? Asks Mandy Mouse. It sounds like a dinosaur eating leaves. It could be a hungry herbivore, says Edmund. Herbivores mostly eat plants. It came from those bushes, says Penny Polar Bear. The dinosaur hunters head towards the bushes. Crunch, munch, rustle, rustle. Well done, Mandy and Penny, says Grampy Rabbit. You found the hungry dinosaur. Grampy Rabbit tells everyone to look for more clues. Look, says Edmund, I found some footprints. Footprints tell scientists how big dinosaurs were, he says. Oh dear, says Daddy Pig. I hope it's not a big one. The dinosaur hunters follow the footprints to a dark tunnel and peer inside. Well done, Edmund, says Grampy Rabbit. You found the sleeping dinosaur. Now, let's go before we wake it up. Where's the next dinosaur? Says Peppa. Can you please give us a clue, Grampy Rabbit? Yes, Peppa, says Grampy Rabbit. This dinosaur has scaly skin and sharp teeth. Mummy Pig sees something big stomping around the volcano. The dinosaur hunters go over to the fiery volcano to take a look. Maybe we should go and find another dinosaur, says Mummy Pig nervously. Well done, Mummy Pig, says Grampy Rabbit. You found the sharp-toothed dinosaur. Suddenly, George hears something. He leads the dinosaur hunters deep into the jungle. Grrr! Roars George, pointing to a giant egg. The giant purple dinosaur egg is hatching. Look, George has found the Granny Pigosaurus, cries Peppa. Roar, roars Granny Pig. Did you all enjoy the dinosaur hunt? Yes, Granny, says Peppa, and my favourite dinosaur is you. Peppa loves dinosaur hunts. Everyone loves dinosaur hunts. The end.
Peppa loves soft play. George has been invited to Richard Rabbit's party at the Soft Play Centre. Daddy, remember last time when you got stuck in the tube slide? Peppa asks, giggling. Yes, well, mutters Daddy Pig. Don't worry, Daddy Pig, says Mummy Pig. I'll go in with George. Soft play sounds lovely. Richard Rabbit and his friends are having lots of fun, jumping, sliding, climbing and hiding. Time to go home, calls Miss Rabbit, but the children carry on playing. My goodness, cries Mummy Pig, we're never going to get them out. There's only one thing for it. We'll have to go in, says Miss Rabbit. Daddy Pig, Peppa and Susie Sheep arrive to pick up Mummy Pig and George. Hello, children, says Daddy Pig. Where are the grown-ups? Ah, I'm stuck, says a voice.
It's Miss Rabbit.
Ho ho, don't worry, says Daddy Pig. I'll get you out. But then Daddy Pig gets stuck too. Now all the grown-ups are stuck. We'll rescue you, cried Peppa and Susie. Thank you, girls, says Mummy Pig. Now please help Daddy and Miss Rabbit. Thank you, Peppa and Susie, for rescuing us, cheers Miss Rabbit. Now we can go home, says Daddy Pig. But where have all the children gone? Peppa and Susie love the Soft Play Centre. Everyone loves the Soft Play Centre. The end.
Don't forget to subscribe,
Like and share this video with your friends.
Thank you.
Time, story time, books and stories from your mind. Story time, we love story time. Peppa's first sleepover. Peppa is going to her very first sleepover at Zoe Zebra's house. Welcome to my sleepover, Zoe says. I'll pick you up in the morning, Mummy Pig says to Peppa with a kiss. Rebecca Rabbit, Susie Sheep and Emily Elephant are already here. I've got my teddy, Peppa says. Zoe has her monkey, Rebecca has her carrot, Susie has her owl and Emily has her frog. Don't stay up too late, girls, and don't be too loud. Daddy Zebra has to get up early to deliver the post, Mummy Zebra says as she turns out the lights. Zoe's baby twin sisters Zuzu and Zaza want to join the sleepover too. Sleepovers are only for big girls, Zoe says. The twins begin to cry. They're so sweet and little, Peppa says. Can they stay? Rebecca asks. Okay, Zoe says to the twins, but you must not fall asleep. What should we do first? Susie asks. I'm having piano lessons, listen. Zoe starts to pound on the keys. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Mummy Zebra has woken up. Shh, you must be quiet so Daddy Zebra can sleep. Now into your sleeping bags, please. What do we do now? Peppa asks. At sleepovers there's always a midnight feast, Zoe says. It's when we eat things, Susie says, in a hushed voice in secret. Shh, Zoe says as she leads the girls to the kitchen. They each grab some delicious fruit, perfect for a midnight feast. The floorboard creaks. Oh no, Mummy Zebra has woken up. You'll wake Daddy Zebra. Now who knows a bedtime story? The girls take turns. Once upon a time there was a little fairy, Susie begins. And she lived in the forest, Peppa continues. And the fairy met a big monster who went roar, Emily says with a big elephant trumpet noise. Oh dear, the noise has woken Daddy Zebra. Sorry, Daddy, Zoe says. There was a story about a fairy and a scary monster. And we want to know what happens next, Peppa says. Very well, Daddy Zebra sighs. The monster lifted up his great big hairy paws and walked along on his great big hairy feet and sang, Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Daddy Zebra sings gently as he plays the piano. Daddy Zebra's song has sent everyone to sleep. The end. Remember, when we're listening to stories, we have to sit comfortably so we can enjoy the story and sit quietly so you and everyone listening can hear the story. Are you ready?
The book we're going to be reading today is called George's Potty. George's Potty. Peppa and Susie Sheep are having a tea party at Peppa's house. Would Teddy like some tea? Asks Susie. Suddenly, oh, says Susie. What's that smell? Poo-poo, says George. Mummy, calls Peppa. George needs the potty. It's a little late for that, says Mummy Pig, sniffing. Let's get you cleaned up, George. Yay, cries George. Mummy, says Peppa, why can't George use the toilet like I do? He's a bit little for that, replies Mummy Pig. First, he needs to learn how to use the potty. I used to sit on the potty like this, George, says Peppa, using Teddy to show him. George, next time you need to go, call the magic word potty, says Mummy Pig. Potty, says George. Yay! Cheer Peppa and Susie. Peppa, Susie and George are pretending to be giants. Fee, fi, fo, fum, cries Peppa. I smell the smell of a clean, fresh George. Hee hee hee, says George, hurrying to hide. Peppa soon finds George's hiding place. Got you, she says. Wee wee, says George, giggling. Daddy, calls Peppa. George needs the potty. Remember, George, says Daddy Pig, when you need to poo-poo or wee-wee, just say potty. Peppa starts to sing. The magic word is potty, so when you want to go, call out for your potty. The magic word is potty. Potty, George calls. Well done, George, says Peppa. Just like that. Potty, George cries again. Potty! Oh, says Daddy Pig, chuckling. I think George actually wants his potty. Now George is almost grown up, says Peppa. Just like me. Everyone cheers. Hooray! George loves learning to use the potty. Everyone loves learning to use the potty. The end.
Daddy Pig's office. Today is a special treat. Peppa and George are visiting Daddy Pig's office. Daddy, grunt, what do you do at your office all day? Asks Peppa. Lots of fun things, replies Daddy Pig. We're here, he tells the children as they arrive at a
very tall building. "Hello," says Daddy Pig into the intercom. "Hello, Daddy Pig," says a voice. "Can I press the button?" Peppa asks. "Oh, of course, Peppa," Daddy replies. "My office is at the top. We have to go up in the lift," Daddy Pig tells the children. "Can I press the button?" asks Peppa excitedly. "I think it's George's turn. Press the top button, please, George," says Daddy Pig. The lift takes them to the top floor. "Hello, everyone," grunts Daddy Pig. "Hello," say Mr. Rabbit and Mrs. Cat. They work with Daddy Pig. "I have 2 special visitors with me today, Peppa and George," says Daddy Pig. "Let's begin a tour," suggests Daddy Pig. "Mr. Rabbit, can we start at your desk?" "We certainly can," replies Mr. Rabbit. "My job is all about numbers. I take important pieces of paper and stamp them with a rubber stamp," Mr. Rabbit tells them. "Wow!" gasp the children. Peppa likes stamping paper. "Ho, ho, ho, on with the tour. Next is Mrs. Cat's desk," exclaims Daddy Pig. "Hello, Peppa and George," says Mrs. Cat. "My job is all about drawing shapes on a computer." "Can I try?" asks Peppa. "I think it's George's turn," says Daddy Pig. "Yes, it's your turn to work, George," says Peppa. "Snort," agrees George. Mrs. Cat helps George to make lots of blue triangles. "Now we print the triangles out," Peppa cries. The printer spits out sheets of paper everywhere. George and Peppa think it's hilarious. "Do you want to see my desk?" Daddy Pig asks. "Yes, please." "Grunt," says Peppa. Daddy Pig's job is very important. "Do you use stamps or a computer?" asks Peppa. "No," replies Daddy Pig. "I use coloured pens." Peppa and George love colouring pens. George is drawing a dinosaur. "George always draws dinosaurs," says Peppa, bored. "Dinosaur!" grrr, says George. Ding ding! The office clock has just chimed. "My goodness, 5 o'clock already," says Daddy Pig. It's time for Peppa, George and Daddy to go home. "You've been doing my job very well," snorts Daddy Pig. "I like doing Mr. Rabbit's job and I like doing Mrs. Cat's job, but I like doing your job the best, Daddy," says Peppa. Peppa and George have had an excellent day at Daddy Pig's office. The end. The book we're going to be reading today is called Peppa Pig's Family Computer. Remember, sit comfortably so you can enjoy the story, and sit quietly so you and everyone listening can hear the story.
Don't forget to subscribe,
Like and share this video with your friends.
Thank you.
Peppa Pig's Family Computer. Mummy Pig is working on the family computer. She's typing very fast. Mummy Pig has a lot of important work to do today. Daddy Pig is in the kitchen making soup for lunch. "Daddy," Peppa asks, "can we go and watch Mummy on the computer, please?" "Yes, as long as you don't disturb her," Daddy Pig says. "Mummy," Peppa asks, "can George and I sit on your lap and watch you work?" "Yes, as long as you both sit quietly," Mummy Pig agrees. About a minute later, Peppa asks, "Can we play the Happy Mrs. Chicken game on the computer?" Mummy Pig says, "We can play Happy Mrs. Chicken later, but now I have to work." Another minute later, Peppa asks, "Mummy, can we help you work?" Peppa taps away at the computer like Mummy Pig. "No, Peppa," Mummy says, "you mustn't touch the computer while I'm working." "Yes, George," Peppa says in a bossy voice. "You mustn't do this," Peppa taps away again and the computer flashes. Peppa, stop! Mummy Pig says. Sorry, Mummy, Peppa says. I was just showing George what not to do. Daddy Pig, Mummy calls. Can you mend the computer while I finish the lunch? Daddy Pig says. I'm not very good with these things. Daddy Pig pushes a button. Daddy Pig pushes another button. Maybe if I switch it off and switch it on again. Daddy Pig has mended the computer! Hooray, Daddy! Shouts Peppa. She and George jump up and down. Yes, Daddy Pig smiles. I am a bit of an expert on these things. Daddy, Peppa asks, can we play that computer game, Happy Mrs. Chicken? Mummy said we could play it later, Peppa says, and now it's later. Well, Daddy Pig thinks for a moment. Okay then. Daddy Pig starts the Happy Mrs. Chicken game. Ho ho ho! Daddy Pig laughs as Peppa and George play Happy Mrs. Chicken. Snort, Mummy Pig says as she comes into the room. I see the computer is working again. The end.
The book we're going to be reading today is called Peppa's Fishy Friends.
Remember, sit comfortably so you can enjoy the story and sit quietly so you and everyone else listening can hear the story.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Like and share this video with your friends.
Thank you.
Peppa's Fishy Friends. Goldie is Peppa's pet fish. Today she looks a bit sad. I think Goldie is lonely, says Peppa. She hasn't got any fishy friends. Maybe Goldie could visit the aquarium, says Mummy Pig. An aquarium is a place where there are lots of fish. Peppa and her family drive to the aquarium. I hope we can find a friend for Goldie, says Peppa. I'm sure we will, snorts Daddy Pig. The aquarium has every type of fish. Miss Rabbit works at the aquarium. Welcome everyone, she says. Does the aquarium have every type of fish? Asks Peppa. Oh yes, replies Miss Rabbit. Probably. The tanks in the first room are full of tiny fish. Peppa starts to sing. Fishy, fishy, fish, fish swimming in the sea. Who will be a fishy friend for my Goldie? Could any of these fish be Goldie's friend? Asks Daddy Pig. Peppa and Goldie look through the glass. No, decides Peppa. They're too small. Peppa tries the next room. Candy Cat is there with her mummy and daddy. Candy's family come to the aquarium all the time. It's better than watching TV, Mrs. Cat beams. We like fish, adds Mr. Cat. What's in this tank? Asks Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig jumps back. The fish in this tank is very big. This fish is too big to be friends with Goldie, decides Peppa. There's something funny in the next tank. Dinosaur, growls George. It's not a dinosaur, says Mummy Pig. It's a funny kind of fish called a seahorse. Peppa thinks that the seahorse is too much like a dinosaur to be Goldie's friend. There's only one room left. This tank is covered in green slime. There's a fish with big long ears, gasps Daddy Pig. It's a rabbit fish. Peppa laughs. It is only Miss Rabbit wearing a diving costume. She's cleaning the glass. There are no more fish tanks. Peppa takes Goldie into the aquarium cafe. Hello, says Miss Rabbit. Did you find a friend for Goldie? No, sighs Peppa. Peppa spots a fish on Miss Rabbit's counter. That's just Ginger, says Miss Rabbit, my pet goldfish. My fish isn't lonely anymore, Peppa laughs. Goldie has found her friend. The end. We've come to the end of the show. I really hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and share it with your friends. Until next time, keep being smart, kind and thoughtful. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Story time, we love story time. Story time, books and stories from your mind. Story time, we love story time.